pretty much where we're headed. So tell me when you're ready, and we'll roll that first. So let me do this before you play it. Let me preference how we got here. So at 5 a.m. yesterday morning, there's an incident outside of that house on Candler. A young lady is there to pick up our suspect's mother to go to work. The suspect comes out of the house. There's some kind of an altercation. He jumps on the hood of the car, and he vandalizes the car. The young lady says, I'm not staying here for this crazy stuff. I'm going to work. After work, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she calls to report the incident. That's what gets us to this address. We're investigating the vandalism from 5 a.m. that she doesn't report to us until she comes home from work. So here is Deputy Lopez body camera footage. So if you were there last night, obviously they walk up the driveway. Here's the front door. Comes out with the box in his hand, back in. This is Deputy Rivera. Take a good look at this now. He comes right out and opens fire. See with the gun, and you see the muzzle flashes. The deputies retreat down the driveway, yelling, shots fired, shots fired. You can see he's bleeding from his arm. Tourniquet for his leg. So after he shoots, he goes back into the house. He eventually comes out, and we take him into custody. He actually tries to enter. I don't know if you can see the car. There's a white car in the driveway. He goes back in the house, comes out, tries to get in the car, meanders around there, and eventually he decides he's going to give up. He was alone in the house at the time of the incident. The two people that we took into custody, they were living in the shed behind the property, paying him rent. These are the two people coming out of the shed. There's a male husband and wife. They had no involvement or any anything to witness or anything that had happened. They just rent that shed from our suspect and his mother. That's the white car that he tried to get in and out of. That gun is a 9mm. It was purchased by someone in Sanford legally. We're trying to figure out how he got his hands on that weapon. He was involved in an incident in July 4th in Sanford where he pointed the gun at somebody. The description of that firearm damn right matches what happened in Sanford on July 4th. It's a conic 9mm firearm. So where we weren't last night, where we can update you now, is he fires 12 shots at the deputies. We don't know whether or not we're going to be able to recover Deputy Rivera's body camera footage. It went out to Axon. We just spoke to them and their forensic people. We're going to see what they can do. But the trail of shells from the front door to where you see Deputy Rivera leaning on the car would indicate he fired at him and followed him down that driveway and followed deputies down the driveway. What we discovered early this morning and last night is our defendant was on an AI platform in Spanish on February 14th, and he asked AI, "Can I kill someone if they visit my property?" AI then gave it a definition of stand your ground and Florida law and kind of advised this isn't really a good thing to do. So once he was in custody and read his rights, he decided he was going to cooperate. And he gave a pretty interesting statement. And some of the things you hear in this statement kind of mirrors the statement from the shooter of Officer Jewell, if you think back. He starts off with saying he had a horrible day and starts to talk about that first confrontation with the woman at 5 a.m. where he talks about he was armed during that confrontation. When the deputies came up to the house, he had every intention to shoot them in their vest. And if I didn't run out of ammunition, I would have killed them all. And if you're going to ask me about my medication, I don't like taking my medication. So that's where we are. I'll give you an update on Deputy Rivera. We all went up to see him today at different parts of the day. When I got there, he was eating chicken and waffles and watching SpongeBob. Tell me that's not typical of a father of three. So we anticipate he's going to get released tomorrow, and we're going to try to do some special things for him and his family when he gets released. We'll let you guys know what we're going to do, and eventually there'll be a procession to get him home. I know he's anxious to get back to work. He asked me, he said, "Please, Sheriff, when I come back to work, do not send me to the communication center. Whatever you do, can I do something that's at least the folks will say I'm doing a great job or I'm doing something to help somebody out?" We've been in contact with all our deputies. I think the easy part's going to be the physical wounds. They're going to heal. But all of us on the command staff have been in touch with every one of those deputies that were out there. Who's applying tourniquets? Who was first aid? Who loaded them in the car to go? Air One crew. Everybody is having a hard time with this. And that's what our job is. Our job is to get them over the hump. And I'm going to say this, and you can bleep me or do whatever. I really don't care. But there's a lot of scumbags out there that got a lot of things to say. Okay? What they did, what those deputies did, was absolutely outstanding. It was bravery. There was restraint involved. They did everything you could ever ask a law enforcement professional to do. And one thing they did not know or anticipate was a vandalism call knocking on the door, which they have the legal right to do, would end up in a barrage of gunfire. And I don't care how much training I give you. I don't care how much equipment I give you. Sometimes that angel on your shoulder is the reason that you survive. And that young man last night had an angel on his shoulder. Because you think of that. That body camera shot was coming to the chest. And whether you have a bulletproof vest on or not, sometimes that hits that vest. It goes through the vest. The vest can direct that bullet up into your neck, up into your shoulder, into your artery. Just wearing a vest doesn't mean I'm going to be safe. It's not a bulletproof vest. It's a bullet-resistant vest. That's what's important. There's no doubt that that body camera, worn where it was, stopped a shot to the chest, and clearly it directed it through his shoulder. And I'm not a doctor, but you saw that blood. It came pretty damn close to his femoral artery on top of that. And those deputies didn't wait. You know, there was no lollygagging or vacillating around, oh, let's wait for evac or let's wait for the helicopter. Hey, there's a hospital, you know, less than a half a mile away. Get him in that car and get him to the hospital. And they did that. They did that. And they held the scene. They took him into custody, and they did what they needed to do. So, you guys got any questions?
So, the two people in the shed, did they end up getting released?
They were released. They had no idea what was going on. In the very beginning, when the deputies are walking up and they're asking for him, they confer in Spanish and said he's probably inside the house. We don't know anything. And they go back into the shed, and then all hell breaks loose from there.
And then just a quick question about the body cam. So I understood that the partner, he had like ran around the house, but he did witness. So he first witnessed the shot.
That's his body camera.
Yeah.
That's his body camera catching that. Now remember, they're in the doorway, and if you look at that, we'll play the video again. There's nowhere to go. There's no trees. There's no nothing. The only cover you have is those three cars in the driveway. The bad guy's white car, then there was a red car, and then there was another car. Directly behind them is a park. There's a fence there. So there is no hard cover once he comes out of that door. And he's got the drop on them. I mean, you saw that in the video. Their guns aren't out. You know, they're not going to know, hey, come here for a minute, buddy, I want to talk to you. It's a vandalism call, for Christ's sake. And they're greeted with, you know, gunfire. And obviously, he sits there and tells us what a horrible day he had, and that if he had not run out of ammunition, he would have killed every one of those deputies. He did have more ammunition. He fired at 12. He dropped the clip. And from the crime scene, it looks like he went in, reloaded, must have thought better about it, came out without the gun, tried to get in the car, and tried to leave, and then they were able to take him into custody.
So he bought that gun from someone?
He claims he bought the gun off of some whoever for $600 on the streets of Sanford. So obviously, we're working with ATF to go to the original purchaser and find out, hey, we know where your gun is. How the hell did it get in this guy's hands?
Can he get in trouble?
Absolutely. If he's illegal sale or transfer of a gun. It's not reported stolen. So we'll look to tag him. Hopefully the feds will pick that up.
Suspect even allowed to have a gun?
I would say, based on his mental, no. The family should know that. But then again, his mother has been a victim of him beating her, and so has his sister.
Was this one long barrage, or was it?
It was one long barrage. It was 12 rounds. And like I said, the trail starts. There's a couple in the doorway, and then the trail goes off. I guess if you were looking at the property, it would be to the right where the cars were. The trail goes almost down to where Deputy Rivera, when you see him leaning on that car.
How many shots did Deputy Rivera get?
6. Retreating, he got 6 off. He wasn't able to stand his ground. He was retreating, firing back.
This trainee, have you talked to him at all?
Yeah, we've talked to him. 8 days. What do you think he's saying? I mean, you know, he's there. The most important thing for him was do my duty, talk to FDLE, make my statement, and then when I get to the hospital, meet my partner. That was the most important thing to him.
I think in the body cam, one thing that is remarkable is how calm they were as all of this is happening. What do you say about that?
That's what I'm so proud of him. And I mean, the chief watched the video. We've all watched this video multiple times, and what comes through is that. What comes through is the training, because, you know, all hell's breaking loose, right? And you got to make a split-second decision. Do I throw in there? You know, the guy's still armed. The guy's still active on the scene. Do I take time to put a tourniquet on? Throw him in the back of the car. What do we do to get him the hell out of here? Now, what do we do to secure the scene, make sure this guy doesn't get away? Is he coming back out again? Where did he go? What other kinds of ammunition, what kind of rounds does he have coming at us? You know, so no, you don't know all these things in a matter of minutes. You have to make all of these decisions. And we're proud of every single thing that they did. Their decision-making, they were calm under fire. They did everything they needed to do.
At what point did the suspect look at AI or look at
February 14th. February 14th, he makes that inquiry in Spanish to AI about, the exact words, can I kill someone if they visit my property, is what he asks. And then AI gives the response of, that's really not a good idea. Here's what stand your ground means. Here's what the law, you know, what federal law is and what Florida law is.
Sheriff, I'm sorry if you touched on this last night, but did these deputies have any
Only knowledge they had was that the mom told them he's bipolar, schizophrenic, and when he doesn't take his meds, he's violent. That's what they had. They didn't have any information about a gun. They didn't have any, some of that information I gave you last night, they weren't privy to that. We were privy to it because after it happened, then you're able to go back and cull these records and find those things out. But that's what they had, and they did. They radioed in ahead. They called in and said, hey, we're going to a house. We're going to probably need some more units to show up. And they did. There were detailed deputies in the area, Deputy Dang and Deputy Hernandez, I think. They had just happened to hear it. They were close by. They were there pulling up. Two of the other deputies were in the shift. They were the female officer, female deputy there, Deputy Kim Puglisi. She was pulling up. They had all arrived there. They were already up at the front door when the other deputies were arriving. And I don't think it really would have mattered. In his mind, he was going to do exactly what he did. And he knew from February 14th, because he's already had encounters with law enforcement before in Lake Marion and Sanford, where they've come to his house. On the 4th of July, they were knocking on his door to investigate the gun issue, which again, we all believe when you read the description of the gun on the July 4th incident and the gun that he uses last night, it's the same gun. It's a tan gun. I mean, you saw that firearm.
We saw it in the body cam video. How important is the life-saving training that your deputies get?
In today's world, that's what we train for. We switched about 4 years ago to new holsters for active shooter training so that everybody would have tourniquets. Because under active shooter drills, if you go down, ain't nobody picking you up. You got to tend to yourself. And then afterwards, you can use the tourniquet to help once that active shooter is put down. But we've used, this is I think the second time we've used it on a deputy. Normally we use it on the general public. The one I'm thinking of right now is there was a stabbing at LPGA where the guy was stabbed pretty good, and deputies were used all their tourniquets because he was stabbed all over the place to get him out of there. And now this one with Deputy Rivera is the second time we've used it on a deputy. So when people say, oh, he spends all this money on equipment, this is equipment to save life. You hope you never have to use those tourniquets. You hope you never have to use that equipment that we have. But you know what? You need it because we live in a violent world. People don't want to believe it. We live in a violent world.
What charges is Polanco facing?
2 counts of first-degree attempted murder. And obviously weapons charge and everything else that goes with that. But they're the 2 big charges that the state attorney is going to pursue. Do you guys want us to show the video again?
Wouldn't hurt.
Okay. Andrew, they like your video. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian, where Brian is.
It's Vicky's video.
Oh, Vicky, sorry. Oh, there's Brian. Thank you, Vicky. So the weapon is called a conic, is that what it's called? It's not a Glock. That's his car that he tried to leave in.
Sorry for the delay. Should already be there.
So there's the box we talked about. What they said was, in that brief encounter, it looked like his eyes were glazed over when he came out of the house. Like he was kind of shocked to see law enforcement there. So you see one muzzle flash, and you saw the second muzzle flash, that orange, bright orange. Now he's 2 doors down now.
Sheriff, was that a femoral hit? Was he hitting the femoral?
No.
How much
But
blood-
everybody thought from all the blood that he lost that even he thought, that's why he was asking for a tourniquet, that he was hitting his femoral artery.
What was that first hospital that he went to?
It's Halifax in Deltona off of 472.
Did your staff say how much blood he did lose?
I don't know that.
And this was Polanco's place of residence,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Him and his mother. Andrew didn't want you to see the butt crack, so he flirted. He knows it's a PG-13 group we're gonna get.
Who's talking to it? Alright, give him the phone. Alright, bye.
So on your way out, there's a QR code on this computer. Scan it, it'll take you to the download folder for that.
Let me just tell you, that's only because Vicky's back from maternity leave. That is the only reason why. If you depended on the two guys, that wouldn't have got done.
Question. I'm confused. Did his mom call about the damage, or did the mom's friend?
The mom's friend called.
And then anything like you can tell us about like the deputy, the injured deputies, like history of the department.
He's been here since 2023, and he is one of our top performers. He tried out for K9 recently. He on a I guess I'll call it a funny note now. He requested that he can go up in Air 1 on patrol for half a shift to see what it's like. And he said, I didn't anticipate riding in Air 1 the way I rode last night. They wouldn't let me sit up. They strapped me to a backboard. So I think what we're going to do is tomorrow when he gets released, we're going to let him and his wife fly via the coastline back to Deltona, land, and then have an escort to take him home.
I just have a quick question. With the body camera video that we saw, his first was his partner's, but when he's being loaded into the vehicle, is that still his partner?
It's a compilation of, it's a good question. It's a compilation of the other deputies. So when you see the female in the back of the car with him, the Deputy Puglisi, that's her body camera video.
So the partner's video ends after the shot.
It runs, but he goes around the back to seek cover, and then when they start ordering him out of the house, he goes back around, but there's other cameras there at the same time. So, yep.
Is there like an official headshot of the deputy that would maybe?
Well, I'm not allowed to give that out. So, if he gives me permission to, or he wants to do interviews with the media, by me, it's all him. But I won't do anything without him because we took a couple of pictures with him in the hospital, and I don't think he was too happy. I don't think he wants to see anybody see him in a hospital bed. I get that. So we kind of just said, we'll just leave that alone. He wants to watch SpongeBob, eat chicken and waffles.
Your time's up.
Thanks, darling. I appreciate it. I would expect anything less from Channel 9.
You notice I have two microphones here?